12 years of school, 4 years of university, and 6 years of graduate education does not make you smart. Because if that were the case, everyone who completed all this education would be radiating intelligence around them. Whereas there are many people who are unemployed and penniless after all these education processes. You know what I mean. So what should one do to be really smart? First, think about it. What comes to your mind when you think of being smart? Is it someone who solves problems the best? Someone who grasps difficult subjects quickly and gets the best grades? A cool person who tells clever jokes? Or someone who makes money from everything using their brain? Maybe you think of scientists like Albert Einstein or Nikola Tesla. Whoever or whatever you have in mind, remember this. Don't overestimate them and say, I could never be like that. If you think, it's not in my genes, I never had a smart person in my family, that's just an excuse. Everyone can make themselves smarter than they are now. And it is not as difficult as you think. It's not something that just happens when you say, I'm going to be smart. With a little effort and development, you need to program your brain in the right way. The problem is that most of the advice on the internet is so vague and philosophical that even if it works, few people can follow it all together. The only thing you need to be smart is to read. Don't take this as simple advice, because I'm not talking about ordinary reading and finishing dozens of books. I'm talking about applying the information we read in our daily lives and developing our intelligence in the right way. Because when you use the information you read in the right way, then you become an intelligent person in the eyes of other people. If you don't have a reading habit, choosing fiction books with fewer pages at the beginning is useful for speed reading and vocabulary development. However, those who want to chat about interesting topics and learn valuable skills in real life often turn to non-fiction books. Let's say you have chosen a book full of information on a topic that interests you. What you need to do is to apply what you have read in a short period of time so that you convince your brain that the information will be used in real life. For example, when you read recipes, there is no point in reading those books if you don't put them into practice in the kitchen. To master a field, your brain uses 20% knowledge and 80% practical skills. If you don't have the opportunity to practice what you have read, you should use your imagination to rehearse mentally, because this is the only and best method. For example, if you are trying to learn piano but don't have access to a piano, you can visualize your fingers pressing the keys and creating the melody. This kind of mental practice can improve your muscle memory and musical perception even before practicing with an actual instrument. This method of mental practice may seem strange to you. Yes, I know that there will be many differences between real life and a scenario you visualize in your imagination, but the key to this method is to convince your brain that this information is necessary, because the brain cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. So, whether you're learning piano or you're trying to learn engineering, practicing with imagination will help you to become a smarter person. In education, many people's brains are programmed that the knowledge they learn is only necessary to pass exams. So after the tests are over, the brain erases that knowledge one by one. Now, do you understand why a brain programmed this way for 22 years does not make you smarter? Maybe you read hundreds of books by the time you graduated, but they all flew away. Being smart is not about tests. It is about solving real-life problems and actively using what you have learned. If you don't face problems, still use your imagination and try to create and solve artificial problems. It is also important to teach people about knowledge. However, instead of presenting it in an arrogant way, taking an inclusive approach makes you more respectable. If you want to grow with short, useful, and advice-oriented content, this channel is for you. See you in the next video, and take care.